Hello folks, Pipeman 1861 here. Yep, it is another beautiful evening, not quite as cool as I like it, but it's still pretty. I'm being a glutton for punishment and I'm smoking some more Rustica 1800. That is oddly good. Anyway, the purpose of this video, and his username on YouTube escapes me at the moment, it usually does, but a gentleman commented on the video I posted last night asking about how I modified the my corncob pipe to have with pipe mud in the bottom and all that. Well, I told him I'd do a video about it. I'm not going to physically do the process on a video because somebody else already did. Cane Rod Piper. He did, I think, a 3-part video. It was corncob modification. That's excellent. So, if you really want an in-depth look at how to do it, go over and look at his videos. But I'm just basically going to do a really quick once-over of how I do it. This is an unsmoked Missouri Meerschaum. The name of this one escapes me at the moment. Many things escape me. Anyway, it's one of their premium pipes with a hardwood plug. Well, as most Missouri Meerschaums, of course, you won't be able to see very well, but just barely see the shank extends from the factory. The shank extends into the bottom of the bowl. So on most pipes, of course, most pipes, the shank is not inserted into the bowl, but you know, this shank is inserted into the side of the corncob. Well, the end of this shank does not stop at the wall of the cob. It goes all the way through and either almost touches or touches the opposite side. And in the cheaper Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes, that shank extending into the bowl acts as the bottom of the bowl because there is no hardwood plug, and so without that shank extending into the bowl there, it would burn out very quickly. But some people, and this is not at all necessary, some people get these pipes and they're like, oh, this is horrible, because they think all those gaps down in there make a difference. They don't. The rules that apply to Brier pipes do not apply to corncob pipes. Corncob pipes are kind of a weird combination of Brier and Meerschaum. They smoke completely differently. They're more absorbent. You don't have to worry about the draft hole being level with the bottom of the bowl. So none of this I'm going to show you matters a bit. Okay? But if you want to kind of take the corncob up to the next level, this is what you can do. You get yourself a wood carving set. Doesn't have to be an expensive wood carving set. Just with some basic tools, but the one you're looking for is the chisel that is curved. Alright, because you want the curve to match approximately the inside curve of the bowl. What you're going to do is, and it'll take a while, and you can also use something like a Dremel tool with a wood carving bit, but you can tear up your pipe pretty easy with that. But if you're comfortable with it, a Dremel tool with a little wood carving bit would work great too. Basically, what you're going to do to start with is you're going to get your wood carving chisel or your whatever tool of choice you want, and you're going to carefully remove that shank, the part of the shank that is inside the bottom of the bowl. And you're going to remove it until there is shank all the way through this wall of the bowl, but no further. So you want to cut away everything that's in the bottom of the bowl, but you want to leave all of the shank that is glued into the side. That way it's sturdy, you know. And then you also kind of want to contour it. You can wrap a piece of sandpaper around a Sharpie, and after you get a lot of the wood, most of the wood out, you can take that and you can sand the shank smooth with the bowl wall. Okay. And then after you do that, then you can put pipe mud, build up the bottom of the bowl with pipe mud to bring the bottom of the bowl up level with the airway. Pipe mud, there's a lot of different recipes, guys. mix up in its base simplest form. You could technically use plaster of Paris and do it. You know, anything that's not going to melt or be super poisonous. You know, but pipe mud in its basic form is cigar ash. You know, you save all the ashes from a cigar you smoke. I have a little plastic baggie full of the stuff. And you mix the cigar ash. You want like about a tablespoon will do it. And you put it in a little container, and you add about 3 drops of water. And yes, I said drops. And you mix it up, and you do not want a paste. All right? If you have ever worked in any kind of a foundry or casting, metal casting, and you've ever worked with casting sand, that's about the consistency you want. You want it to feel almost dry, and you want it to be able to crumble. It almost feels dry, but it just barely has moisture in it. All right? You mix it up, and too little moisture is better than too much. Because if there's too much, it'll shrink as it dries and just fall out of the bottom of the bowl. The goal is to have just enough moisture in there to kind of activate the stickiness of it, but then once it dries, it doesn't shrink too much. So then after you get it all done, I like to use a pipe tamper. And you pack it in the bottom of the bowl, and you just fill. You put a layer on, you tamp it down, make sure it's even all the way around in the bottom. You put another layer in, you tamp it down, and you want to push hard because it's that compaction that gives pipe mud its strength. You're basically forming a hard carbon cake in the bottom of the pipe, and you keep adding in layers. And if there's like a half-inch gap, which there sometimes is, you might want to fill up half of it and let that layer dry and then fill the rest, but that's up to you. I've filled up the half-inch before and not had a problem. And you just keep packing it in until you have your airway that comes through the shank here. When it comes out, like if you pass the pipe cleaner through the airway into the bowl, that pipe cleaner, the bottom of the pipe cleaner should be resting on the top of that cigar or pipe mud. All right, so it's level. There's no lower, it's not higher, it's straight across level. And then you just let it dry for about, I'd say, 3 or 4 days, which is the hardest part for me. And once you get all that done, it should smoke. Honestly, since it's a corncob pipe, it does not boost in performance incredibly, but there is a noticeable difference. You might get a little less moisture, and you'll be able to smoke your tobacco all the way down to the bottom of the bowl without the stuff getting all soggy. So that's why I do it, and I haven't done it with all my corncob pipes, but that's how you do it. But like I say, go over and watch Cane Rod Piper's series on corncob modification, because that is where he goes step by step and shows you. So do that. But and if you don't want to go through all the trouble of carving out the shank, and you just are concerned about the gaps that are around the edges of the shank, you can just mix up the pipe mud, like I just said, and pack that in around the edges of that shank, and that will prevent little bits of tobacco from falling down in there, which once again doesn't really matter in my opinion. But if you don't like that, or if that bothers you, then you can do that too, and that'll be a little bit less labor intensive than carving out the part of the shank inside the bowl and going through all that rigmarole. And it will also take less pipe mud that way too. So anyway, I hope that helped. If you have any other questions, just go ahead and comment them. But like I say, go and check out Cane Rod Piper's series on that, because that is, as far as I'm concerned, the magnum opus of corncob pipe repair or adjustment and modification. So go over there and watch his videos. Anyway, this has gone on long enough. I'm going to finish this up. Hopefully not get as dizzy as I did last time. And have a nice evening. This is Pipe Man 1861 saying goodbye, good luck, may the good Lord take a liking to you, and I'll see you all again real soon. Thanks, folks. Happy smoking.